In today's video we're going to take a look at when it might be the right time for you to upgrade from your charcoal barbecue to a smoker. Hi everyone, James here from barbecue.com and welcome back to yet another episode of Barbecue Know-How. In recent videos we've been talking quite a lot about smoking on a Weber kettle and how it's a great place to get started and sort of learn the skills involved in low and slow and smoking meat. But eventually there might come a time where you want to drop some of your hard-earned cash on a dedicated smoker. So today we're going to go over some of the different types, some of the pros and cons of them, and when it might be the right time for you to move up from smoking on a kettle to a dedicated smoker. So if you have somehow landed on this video and you're in the market for your first barbecue and it's going to be your one and only barbecue, then I wouldn't recommend buying a smoker. You're much better putting your money into something like a Weber kettle that will allow you to do grilling, roasting, low and slow, and you'll learn the different techniques involved in each of those styles of cooking. So if you need a little bit more information, I have a video about buying your first barbecue and some of the questions you should ask to choose the right one. I'll leave a link for it up here in the iCard. So go and check that video out if this is going to be your one and only barbecue. Smokers are quite specialised and they're generally tailored towards low and slow. So if you're looking for something to cover all the bases, a smoker isn't for you. But for those of you that have a regular barbecue and you've tried all those different styles of cooking and now you want to move to something a bit more specialised, this video we're going to take a look at when's the right time to make that jump. So I've talked about it a few times before in my videos that I did quite a lot of low and slow cooking on my kettle before I bought my WSM. So if you're in that position where you've tried it on your kettle and you realise that one, you enjoy smoked food. Some people buy smokers, they smoke their food and they realise that they don't actually like the taste of it. Massive waste of money. So try it on your kettle first or your regular barbecue, see if it's something you enjoy, and then that way you know whenever you put the money into a smoker it's not going to be wasted. One of the other reasons you might want to move onto a dedicated smoker is if you're running out of room quite a lot on your kettle. It has the disadvantage that the food is a lot closer to the heat source, so you've got a smaller portion of that cooking grate where you can actually place your food. So if you're cooking larger briskets and things like that and you're finding they're too close to that heat source, then a smoker is set up perfectly for cooking them farther away from the heat source. The other thing to consider then is that a smoker is generally a lot easier to manage at them low temperatures. Kettles are designed to cover quite a broad range of temperatures, so they can go in from really high grilling temperatures down to low and slow. So a smoker, the vents on it tend to be set up in such a way that they'll make it easier for you to manage that lower temperature. So if you're struggling with your temperatures on a kettle barbecue but you know you really like low and slow cooking, then a smoker would be the perfect choice to move up to from that kettle. So with that said, you've decided you want a dedicated smoker, mine's made up, dropping the money on it. Which one do you buy? There's so many different types out there, so many different brands as well. It can get a little confusing then which one to go for. So today we're going to look at the four main types in my mind and some of the pros and cons of them and which one might be suitable for you depending on what kind of cooking you want to do. So the first style we're going to look at are vertical smokers. Now in this category I'm going to classify bullet smokers, water smokers, cabinet smokers and barrel smokers. So a vertical smoker is essentially heat source at the bottom, your food is then placed above that and there's some kind of deflector in between it. On a water smoker that would be a water bowl, or you might just have a simple deflector plate. So one of the pros of this style of smoker is that if you have been cooking on a charcoal barbecue, then this uses a similar fuel type, so they either use lumpwood charcoal or briquettes. A downside would be that it's a new style of fire management to learn, so whilst you're using the same fuels, controlling the temperature on a smoker is a little bit different to doing it on a kettle, but again with a little practice it's pretty simple to do. So next up we have stick burners or offsets. So an offset smoker will have a firebox to one side of it, then the main cooking chamber, which the heat passes from the firebox through the cooking chamber and out a chimney or an exhaust at the opposite side of the cooking chamber. So the fire is offset to the actual cooking chamber, hence the name. Stick burner also comes from the fact that they're generally fired with logs rather than using a lumpwood charcoal or a briquette. So again, One of the pros of them is you're using just straight wood in that fire, and as it's burning with the flame, you're getting a nice clean heat and a nice clean smoke going through it, so you get a really nice smoky flavour from it. One of the cons would be that fire needs to be managed really well and tended all day long to make sure it sits at that steady temperature. Aaron Franklin has a few good videos on managing fires and offset smokers, so definitely go and check them out if it is something that you're looking to get into. It's a real traditional way of doing things. It's what all the big American smokehouses do, and definitely if that's something you want to try out, a stick burner might be the one for you, but just be wary, it is an entirely different ball game than doing it on a kettle. Next up we have pellet smokers. Pellet smokers have become really popular in recent years, with the likes of Traeger and Yoder probably being the most popular brands. So how they essentially work is there is a hopper to the side of the smoker which you fill with your desired wood pellets. They are then fed through a worm and into the fire pot where they're heated with a rod. So you just set your temperature whatever you want it to be, and the cooker will manage that fire for you. So you've only got a small fire pot, the rod will keep the temperature where you want it. So one of the big advantages of that is if you are not into fire control or you don't want anything to do with managing a fire, it's all taken care of for you. You just dial in your temperature and it will do all the rest of the work. The disadvantage is they can be a little bit pricey, and also you do need a plug then to run all the electrics and stuff that are involved in keeping that fire steady. Okay, and finally we have electric smokers. So electric smokers are generally cabinet style smokers, but rather than having a flame or a fire to create that smoke, they use a heating element to heat up the wood chips and get them smoking, and that gives you your smoky flavour. So the advantage of them is that again there's no real fire control involved in them. You dial in your temperature and it takes care of the rest of it. You also have the added benefit is there's no real fuel. I suppose electric's the fuel, but all you need is a handful of wood chips. You can throw them into the box and everything else is taken care of for you. The disadvantage is then that again you need a power supply, so it's not something you're going to take with you camping or maybe go to a festival with, and also you can't tend to get that really nice heavy bark flavour from an electric smoker. By the time the wood chips heat up, it tends to be quite a light smoke to give off. So again, maybe if you don't like that heavy smoky flavour, you're not interested in fire control, then maybe the electric smoker is the one for you. So now the question is, which one should you choose? And really only you can answer that question. If you're the kind of person that just wants smoked food at the end of the day and you don't particularly care about the process of making that smoked food, then maybe an electric or a pellet smoker is the one for you. You just throw your meat on there, set your temperatures, close the lid, walk away. You can come back later on and take the food off and enjoy it. You don't really have to worry too much about fussing throughout that process. On the other hand then, maybe it is all about the process for you and you want to spend all day by that smoker, tending the fires, looking after the meat and making sure your temperatures are nice and steady, then an offset or a stick burner might be perfect for you. There is a real skill involved in cooking in one of those, so it's something to master and you really need to tend them all day long just to make sure you keep everything steady. Personally, I think vertical smokers strike a nice balance between the two. You're still cooking with a live fire, be it lumpwood charcoal or briquettes, so you still need to have a certain amount of fire management skills to get that temperature nice and steady. On the other hand then, once you figure out your vent setup and your fire setup and you put your meat on, those will sit rock solid all day long. You don't tend to have to fuss with them too much, so it's a nice balance between the two, but only you can decide which one you want to go for. So the vertical smokers could be anything like the WSM, the Pro Qs, or any of the cabinet smokers as well. They're a great place to move on from the kettle up to these because they have a similar fuel type. They cook in a similar way, albeit they're a little bit taller, a little bit further away from the heat source. So I hope that gave you a little bit of an insight into the different types of smokers and which ones might be best for you. I can't really recommend individual brands as such. Personally, I have the 47cm WSM. It was a little bit of a Goldilocks situation. The 37cm one was a little bit too small, 57cm one was a little bit too big, so the 47 was just right for what I needed it for. But I would recommend getting out onto the internet, speaking to some of the people that own these different styles of smokers, and ask them what the benefits are of them. Most people are more than happy to be honest with you. If there's any problems with them, they'll tell you, or if there's any benefits to them, they'll tell you. So go and speak to people that have them and what their experiences are like with them, and then decide which one's best for you. So hopefully you find that helpful. If you still have questions, please leave them in the comments below, and either myself or somebody else in the community will jump on and help to answer them for you. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. It always helps and it's much appreciated. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode.